you are seeing what? You are seeing a resistance here, which happens to break, and once it gets down, it becomes what? A support, and we will be looking at taking a trade at this support to do what? To rally it all the way back. And that is how you use support and resistance. What is going on, YouTube community? I'm so much excited to bring you all to another Forex video. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you all support and resistance. All right, how to trade Forex using support and resistance. A whole lot of people have been on my DM on Telegram asking me to make a video regarding support and resistance, and today I have decided to compile a video on the best way to use support and resistance. All right, before we actually get into the video entirely, I would like you to understand that support and resistance is not a strategy. It's just a basic knowledge that every forex trader should know, or rather should be aware of. However, support and resistance is the basic of every forex strategy. Whether you are a day trader, a swing trader, a position trader, or an intraday trader, or even an indicator trader, all these strategy are basically, all these type of traders and their strategy are basically based on what? Support and resistance. And that is why in this video I'm going to be exposing a whole lot of things regarding support and resistance. All right, so basically that we call it support and resistance doesn't mean that once the market gets to a particular support, then you start looking on buying, or once the market gets to a particular resistance, then you start looking to sell. No, that is not the way to use support and resistance. All right, so when we talk of support usually occurs on a bearish market, or when the market is selling. It occurs when the market is selling, and resistance occurs in the bullish market when the market is selling. All right, having made this intro, let me go technically, all right, and give you a little bit analysis on what I have said. However, as you must know, we have two types of support. We have the normal support and resistance that you already know, which, if you come to my Telegram community, is one of the edge I use in the market. All right, I use support and resistance a whole lot to find entry in the market, but however, support and resistance is not my strategy. I'm going to be explaining all those things in this video. If you look at this chart that I posted here, all right, this is basically a resistance, a support here that actually got broken and turned a resistance, and we were able to do what? Picture an entry within here. All right, so that's basically it, and it smashed our take profit. If you are not in the Telegram community, you should do well and join, because I post a whole lot of a whole lot of charts that can actually help you. This is the trade before, all right, before I send it out, which later did what? Smash the take profit. They are a whole basic a lot. All right, this one is just a simple what? A simple resistance. This was a resistance, and this was what? A resistance too. We're able to do what? Picture an entry within this area. However, that wasn't the only thing that made us take this trade. But what brings our attention to a trade? This was the trade before. All right, what brings our attention to this trade was the market was already in what? In our zone. Then we use our strategy to find an entry. So if you are not in this Telegram community, do yourself a favor and join this community to be a part of this community, so I will also do what? Get all these free markup charts and signals that can help you in your trading journey. So when we talk about support and resistance, what we basically mean technically, before we go into the chart, is let's assume that the market was going up like this. All right, comes down, goes up, comes down, start to do what? Start to go down. Then we are going to be what? We are going to be interested on this area that the market first did what? First touch. And we're also going to be interested on this area that the market has actually first touched. What? The market has actually touched here, and the market has actually touched here. All right, so as the market is now coming close within this area, we are going to be looking for an entry within this area to know if we are going to do what? Go bullish, because here now happens to be what? A support. here happens to be a support, and we should be looking for what? A buy trade to go back upwards. However, like I did say, what brings our attention as trader to enter a trade is that the market is already on a support. Then we start to do what? Implement our strategy. Whatsoever strategy you use, then you implement it to do what? To take this trade. But if what you are looking at as a trader is once the market gets to a support, then you immediately click a buy, then you are getting it wrong. Most of the times you are going to lose money and you are going to blow your account, because it's not all the time that support will hold. All right, sometimes the support will actually get broken and then finally do what? Turn into a resistance. The support will now broke. All right, and here now will now be what? A resistance. And if it becomes a resistance, then we should be looking at doing what? At selling. Here is a support turned resistance. It was a support before, but it finally broke and becomes what? A resistance. But let's assume that didn't happen. Then sometimes you might also have a fake breakout in which this kind of a thing will occur. And what will the market do? The market will immediately start going up like this, start going up and start going up. Then we will be interested on what the market is going to do when it comes back to this zone, which happens to be our resistance. And if market comes back to our zone here, which happens to be our resistance, what are we going to be looking at? We are looking at some entry criteria within this area, which is basically the use of our strategy to know if we are going to do what? If we are going to go down all the way. However, if you do not see anything that will make you take this trade, then there is no need taking it. In this video, I'm also going to show you where such occurs. The market gets to a major resistance and does what? And did not hold as a resistance. And also when the market gets to a major support and did not hold as a support. That's why I say that support and resistance is not a strategy, but it's the basic knowledge every trader should know, because all strategy are strictly based on what? On strategy, on support and resistance. So having that said, let's quickly dive into the chart, and I will be using USD Swiss franc. All right, I'll be using US dollar Swiss franc for this analysis. As you can see on my chart, I've already made the analysis because I do not want to waste time drawing all these charts. I don't want the video to be too lengthy. I want it to be straight to the point so that every beginner can be able to do what? To understand it. If you are watching this video up to this extent, do not forget to smash that subscription button, like this video, all right, and tell me what you think about this video. Tell me the best way you use your own support and resistance. All right, do you implement it with other strategy, or do you solely use support and resistance? All right, so like I did say, there are normal support and resistance. We also have trend line support and resistance. All right, trend line can be a support or a resistance, same way that your indicator, maybe moving average, can also be a dynamic support or a dynamic resistance. But in this video, we are not going to be talking about the trend line support. We are just going to be talking about the normal support, which is the supply and demand zone that you already know. So coming to this video now, looking at this trade now, you will kind of discover that the market has actually made a touch within this first place, which happens to be first touch, all right, of this support. Then before coming down here, so when the market was here, we will be interested on what the market is going to do when it finally gets back to this zone. All right, when the market finally gets back to this zone, that is what we are going to be interested on. And as you can see, when the market finally gets to this zone, then traders would use their we definitely use their entry criteria to know to find an entry within here. All right, so basically, since the markets have touched here, what we'll be looking at is to use our strategy and enter a trade within here. And when the market gets to this place, that is when I usually send it out to the Telegram community. I'm just telling you, I'm drawing your attention to this setup. The market is close to our zone. Then you should use whatsoever strategy you are using to find an entry within this area. However, if you do not see any entry, then there is no need of you taking the trade. Most of the times I will send the chart on the Telegram community. That doesn't mean that I have taken the trade. All right, I only take it if I was able to see whatsoever will make me to take the trade within here. All right, so as you can see, if you were able to use your entry criteria to picture out this trade, you would have taken the trade based on my own strategy. If you want to know how I enter a trade, go to my channel and watch my video. I've made a video on how I enter a trade. That is basically my entry confirmations and my strategy. All those things was explained in the video. I'll be putting the video somewhere on the screen so that you can also go and watch it and discover how I enter a trade. That the market is on your zone doesn't mean you will be taking that. All right, so as you can basically see, the market immediately dropped, and since the market dropped all the way down, what we'll be interested on what is going to happen on this zone here. Since the market have already touched on this zone, we'll be interested to know what is going to happen on this zone. All right, so if you were able to picture out an entry within this zone, then you will also be able to do what, to take this market back all the way up here. All right, and if you're also able to take the market back all the way up here, see, this happens to be what, our first resistance, second resistance, and then third resistance. You would have also find a way to look for a trade within here. And what are you going to do? You are going to roll it down all the way. All right, but since the market couldn't get all the way down, then that is why you are seeing this trend line, which then happens to be what, a support trend line. And after that, the market finally did what? The market finally touched this next support, all right, resistance. I mean to say, here is our support, our resistance. As you can see, this resistance actually held for what, 1, 2, 3, and 4 before crashing down again. And after the fourth time, what did it do? It also came back again, still couldn't break it, and it retraced a little bit on this resistance before doing what? Before crashing all further up. And if you look at it here, we're also looking to know if we are going to find an entry here, since here is a major resistance. And if I zoom back clearly, you will understand what I mean that is a major resistance, because looking at it here, you are going to see the what? You are basically going to see the first touch here, then the second touch here, and also obviously what, the third touch here. We would have also been looking to know if the market was going to do what, to sell down here on this resistance. But as you can see, it never did held, and that's why I'm telling you all that. That is the reason why it's not all the time the market gets to your zone, then you immediately start doing what, start selling or start entering the trade. What you look at is to know if the market is going to head here by you watching on candlestick formation, the trend line, and many other entry confirmations that I use. You have to go and watch the video. I will also place it somewhere on the screen so that you can click it and watch how I enter a trade. All right, my entry confirmations before placing any trade. Once you capture on it, then what are you going to do? You determine whether the market is going to go down. But if you do not see any entry criteria, what you do is just basically leave it. As you can see, the market did what? The market never held here as a resistance, never held as a resistance. What did it do? It basically broke the resistance. So as you can see, the market basically did not held what? It did not held here as a resistance to go down. What did it do? It immediately broke this resistance and flied all the way up. Now what we are looking at, we are not looking at taking the trade anywhere within this area, because there is no major entry that is telling us that the market is going to do what, is going to retrace. So what we top forex traders are doing now is to wait for the market to do what, get back to this resistance as at here, which now later turn a support. Once it gets here, this will automatically be a support and no longer a resistance, and that is what we are talking about, a resistance on support. Because if you look at it clearly, what are you seeing here? You are seeing what? You are seeing a resistance here, a resistance here, which happens to break, and once it gets down, it becomes what, a support. And we will be looking at taking a trade at this support to do what, to rally it all the way back. And that is how you use support and resistance. Once the market gets to your zone, we start looking at ourselves, at our what, at our trading plan, to look at your strategy. What does your strategy says when the market gets to this zone? So I'll be going to another chart. Let me show you another scenario of what, of support and resistance. I'll be going to Euro AUD. So basically, if you look at Euro AUD, you can have discovered that the market has actually done what? Touched this area, and that was why we marked this zone here. It is on a major psychological level of what? 1.6200. So we were basically waiting for it. We wouldn't have taken this trade, alright, because it didn't get back to what? Our resistance. But however, we would have taken this trade by using our what? Entry criteria. As you can see, it was also on a retest of what? Of a major trend line, which you can see here. And because of that, we would have what? Find an entry within this area and would have taken the trade downward. That's basically the reason why I do tell you is not just the market getting to your zone here, then you immediately place a trade. Use all the entry criteria, all your confirmations, candlesticks, psychological level on whatever strategy that you are using to place a trade. Once again, if you want to see my entry confirmations before I place a trade, ensure you go to my channel and watch the video, because I have already made the video. All right, I'll be placing the link on the description, and also I will place it as a card somewhere on the screen so I can click it and watch. All right, so basically coming towards it, as you can see, the market actually dropped. It dropped drastically from here, from this major resistance back to what? Back to this another support. It's actually a support, because if you look at the market here, let me zoom this thing a little bit clearer. So if you look at it now, here was what? A major support, and also a major support here. So when the market was actually selling down from this resistance back to this what? To this support, we would have been looking for what? An entry to know if we are going to rally this thing backward. But as you can see, the market never did what? It never did held here as a support. All right, it never did held here as a support, and that was why if you use the entry criteria on this particular zone, you will discover that there is no confirmation telling you that the market was going to go up, was going to go up. So however, what did it do? It actually did break this resistance, this support. I mean to say, it broke this support. So after breaking this major resistance, this major support here, which is on our key psychological level of what? 1.5300, it dropped and did what? And retraced our support before, and now here it turns towards a resistance. Here it becomes a resistance, but here it was meant to be a support, but it never did held, and it becomes what? A resistance. And because of that, we look for our entry criteria by looking out for our what? Confirmation, and we're able to place a trade within here and rally it all the way downward. And after that, we'll also be looking at this zone as a strong what? As a strong resistance here now, because remember, in the forex, what we are looking at is that whatever makes the market to stop going furthermore can also make it to stop going furthermore anytime the price gets to that particular zone. All right, so that is the reason why we also wait for this market to get down towards this here, and it finally gets down towards this here. We will use our entry criteria to do what? To place this trade and immediately rally it all the way downward. All right, and we'll also be waiting for it to do what? To anytime it start going down, to come back to this zone again. We'll be looking for what? An entry to rally it all the way down. And that is the simple way on how you can do what? You can trade support and resistance. That's how you use support and resistance to find an entry in the market, and that is how you use a support and resistance to expect a perfect setup being coming. You do not just use your strategy randomly anywhere in the chart. You use it where some certain things are occurring, and that is when the market is actually coming towards your zone. All right, so do not forget, guys, that whatever stops the market from going furthermore can also stop it from going furthermore again. But however, that doesn't mean that is a certain 100% sure that if we get to that particular zone, that is still going to stop it from going further more. All right, and another tip that you need to understand is that support and resistance is very, very strong, mainly on the second and third touch. Anything from second and third touch, you should be looking out for what? For a breakout, because the market has actually touched that particular zone how many times? More than 3 times. So basically, is most likely going to break. As you can see, what's happened here. All right, what's happened here? This was the first second, and basically the third. All right, so but when it got to the fourth, it did break down. So we are expecting this to have touched first, second. If it actually comes back maybe the third time, and if it was able to hold as a resistance, then we're expecting a breakup maybe on the fifth touch. So that is all for this video, guys. I do not want the video to be lengthy. I hope you did learn and did enjoy the video, and also help you learn a whole lot of things so I'll be able to use to implement in your strategy. Do not forget to join my Telegram community so that you will be part of all the signals and all the seminars and educational things that I do send out in the community. All right, and also help you in bettering your what your own trade. As you can see, we have been killing it in the Telegram community. We have basically been killing it all the time, powerful charts, powerful markup charts on the Telegram community. Check on the link in the description, all right, and join it by clicking on this link in the description. All right, so we have been killing it all the time, all the time, all the time, all right, all the time, all the time. Powerful charts, powerful charts. So once again, guys, do well and join the Telegram community so I'll be part of the hunters, part of the Telegram community. Just as you can see, I think this was the trade Euro JPY, which you can basically see. What I did here was what I just drew your attention. See, the markets have touched this first zone, this was the second, and it's now on what, on the third. So basically I send it as and tell you that you should be expecting what, a buy from this area. However, that doesn't mean that you should immediately place this buy as a signal, but you should start looking for what, looking for your entry within this zone so that you can rally it back all the way here. From here to here is more than 600 pips. All right, so we are not even expecting you to hold it all the way, but you should look for an entry and start breaking your profit on the retracement you take until the market finally gets to the major resistance. All right, so that's all for this video, guys. If you did enjoy it, do not forget to smash that subscription button, like this video, and be a part of this community. Turn on your post notification bell so that anytime I drop a new video like this, you will be notified. That will be all, guys. See you and see you again. Like another announcement, I just changed my YouTube name to Tochi Eke. It's no longer Toby Forex, it's no longer Toby Eke. I will never chat you up in the first place for any reason. All right, so be careful, guys. Be careful of all the scams on the comment section, and be careful of scam in the forex industry. Stay safe. I'll see you in the next video. Peace and out.